Somebody else who has big, thick calves is Kevin James, and I did not understand why it is Kevin James was all over my timeline yesterday. Can someone explain it to me? Would anybody like to explain to me why every time I looked up yesterday there was a sheepish Kevin James?
I don't really know. Do you know why, Jess? I mean, why not? Is there something wrong with that?
I just don't get the joke. I don't understand what it is that we're doing or why it was so prevalent yesterday. It all missed me. Why were you laughing, Tony?
Because you said sheepishly, and it's the best way to describe it. Because if I look at Kevin James' picture right now, he's kind of got a little sheepy, coy smile.
I thought it was the freckles comment.
That was I love anytime you mention
unnecessary
freckles,
details about his calves.
He gets so offended by the freckle comment.
Really?
You do it a lot with the freckles. I'm just gonna say.
It's a funny word.
You're
Freckle's a funny word. It's an indisputably.
You're very inclusive with everybody. But when it comes to
Except for people with freckles.
you're just very quick to shame freckles. Very quick. You always are. It's fine.
Dan right now is the Kevin James meme, getting called out about the freckles. The Kevin James memes, I think it started like a week ago, and it really picked up steam this weekend, Dan, and now there's dozens of them. I mean, they keep coming out of the woodwork, him posing in the weirdest ways in a pothole.
Well, this is what I've noticed. Kevin James, I don't know how big a star he was. He was one of the biggest stars we had for a moment on television.
The Sean Payton movie was the death knell, I think, for him. No.
He took an unusual number of photo shoots because that is what I saw a lot of, Kevin James posing for a lot of different things. It seemed to me that when Kevin James arrived at stardom, he spent all the time after that taking photo shoots of some sort that the TV people and he was grateful to do it, happy to do it.
Dan, I love that we're having the when Kevin James arrived at stardom conversation on the show. Lucy and I spent, I want to say like the better part of an hour a few nights ago talking about Paul Blart Mall Cop.
That was such a key part of my childhood. I remember watching that movie being like, this is the best humor's ever gonna get. It will never be funnier than Paul Blart on the Segway going through the mall. It was the peak humor. I'm happy he's getting his moment.
Perfectly named character, right, Lucy?
That is a man named Paul Blart. You look at him, you're like, yep, that is Paul Blart, an American hero.
A mall cop. I watched Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 once on Easter Sunday.
There's a second one?
There's this Chris.
There's a third.
I think there might be a third one too. I'll have to look into
No,
that.
Viva Fort Vegas was a fake.
Ah, that's a bummer. I've never seen the first Paul Blart Mall Cop that Lucy was just talking about, but there was a sequel, and it was on TV on Easter Sunday a couple years ago. My entire family, for some reason, was just kind of like food comaed and watching it. And at the end of the movie, my aunt actually started crying because she was so touched by the ending of Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. And I was like, Aunt Amy, you might need some antidepressants, but also this movie, it really hits people in the feels, Dan.
You should have cried, honestly. You should have cried too. For
Maybe
Paul Blart,
I was wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
Did any of you at any other time in childhood have the amazing reaction that Lucy had, where you point at something and say, that's as funny's ever going to get for as long as I live? A child looking at humor and saying Paul Blart Mall Cop is the top of
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, when they did the bit where the subtitles would have a swear word in them, and then like you move the book and it's like, oh, shiitake mushrooms. I was like, oh, that's the right there.
Or what is that? Is that a giant Johnson?
Every Austin Powers movie for me.
2 balls.
Paul Blart rocketed the Kevin James stardom because I thought the television show is where his stardom started. That I remember him doing a Cinnabon joke in an airport. I thought that's the first notice I took of Kevin James. I still don't understand entirely, though. Do we have an explanation for why yesterday or the last couple of days he's been making this many appearances all over your timeline?
You know how memes work, Dan? Yeah, once it catches, then everybody uses it. I'm sure Michael Jordan didn't expect several years after a Hall of Fame speech that he'd become a meme, but it just happened. Someone discovers it, and then content creators get their hands on it, and it just totally takes off.
I will say this one has legs. Yeah. This one, the meme
and
cycle
calves.
has shortened dramatically in the last 10 years.
Is that a private?
This meme has legs. We're on like day number, I want to say like 7 of Kevin James memes, and they're still hitting. It's kind of crazy.